be episode 4 of chord progressions, or rather episode 4 of chords, talking about chord progressions themselves. Today we're going to talk about a simple chord progression, the C, G, A, F chord progression. On a scale itself, it would be known as a 1, 5, 6, 4 chord progression. That can also be demonstrated by going up instead. Chord progressions are powerful tools used to enhance music, maybe just the bass line or the melody itself. A lot of times chord progressions are useful when you're singing along. When I opened up the video, I showed you how powerful a chord progression can be, especially if you start adding some other things in there. But take, for example, just the triads, and we go in a chord progression of C, G, A, F. It would sound like this. Now, I don't want to be unfair to you. There's a lot of tricks I'm using to make it sound better. That was very simple. But for your understanding, it's just C major, G major, A minor, F major. Now, there's other tricks to make it sound better. For example, having two different rhythms going on. I've spoken about arpeggios in other videos. Take the C chord, for example, get that E, throw it on top. Now let's listen to it as I throw it on top. Something as a trick you can do is C, G, E down to D, C. Watch this. Sorry. Go down to G, A, now combine the two. Now I'm going to do a second inversion to make room for it, okay? Remember, a second inversion for my videos, get that C and throw it on top. Back to our triads. Let's just watch the triads, what you can do with them. These are called sus chords, S-U-S. This is actually called a C major sus2, and I believe this is a sus4. Sometimes I believe they're referred to as the God chord because they sound so heavenly, or so cerebral. It would take a long time to describe all the tricks you can do when you're doing chord progressions, whether that's doing sus chords, you're doing filler notes, you're rolling your chords, you're doing arpeggios. But when you combine them all, plus your chord progression becomes very powerful. Chord progressions over time do sound lyrical because of the nature of how chords are built, especially on a scale. It's just chords that make sense together. What makes sense after a C major chord is a G chord. What may not make sense after a C chord would be like a B minor. It doesn't quite sound the same. C minor, or disregard C major, C minor, let's say we threw a D major in there. It doesn't sound quite the same. There are some rules when it comes to chord progressions. You'll learn about those later. But a lot of times those rules are based on the scale that you're playing in, or the key itself. But this is why C, G, F sound so good together, is because this chord progression makes sense. Think of chord progressions as building a sentence in the English language. There's certain ways to build a sentence. For example, in the English language, if you're describing something with an adjective, the adjective always goes before the noun. So for example, if you were going to say a large tree, you would put the adjective large before the noun tree. Okay? In other languages, that doesn't apply, but not to detract from this. The point is, in chord progressions, there's certain things that have to go in order to make it sound right. Believe it or not, in music, there's a proper grammar that takes place. I just wanted to show you this for this video, just how chord progressions can help you. There's software out there to help you with this. The software will help you determine what chord should go after the next one that you play. In fact, if you go to the App Store on Apple, you can find an app called Chords, and it should be able to help you out. I'm not sure if there's something for Android, but I will look into it myself. Please ask any questions that you may have on the comments for YouTube, and I'll close out by just showing you a few tricks with this chord progression. Remember to watch carefully the notes that I'm playing. There's other fillers that I have. What makes it easy is that I'm going on the C scale. All these white notes are fair game. That's why I can literally hit any note and it makes sense. So for example, if I'm doing a chord progression, thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe.